Hey, welcome to the Healthy AF podcast. We all know that health is complex and multifaceted. Amy Chang and Fran Paradine are here to break it down, talk it up, and learn from a whole slew of really amazing guests. Fran and Amy are both health coaches, and just like health, their practices and viewpoints are individualized. You'll hear different takes on the same information as they discuss all things health, and you'll learn with them as they talk with guests who explore all different areas of health. Every episode will be fun, informative, and entertaining. If you like what you hear, please follow us and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthy AF podcast. We've got a really fun one today because we've got a big celebration. Amy is turning 50. So let's wish her a big happy birthday. Because it's a big one. There's lots of reasons to celebrate turning 50. And we thought today would be a really fun opportunity to look back at some health trends over the last 50 years and look at how far we've come. Kind of some of these are really silly when we look back at them, and science has improved our knowledge base profoundly over the past 50 years. And so this is kind of going to be a fun podcast to listen to. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And Amy, happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I love my birthday, actually. And it's a day that a lot of people forget because it's January the 2nd. So, yes, I get a lot of combination birthday Christmas presents, and no, that is not acceptable.
So my brother was born on Christmas Day.
Oh, that's
and my mother-in-law is the 26th.
Oh, gosh.
I know. So, yeah, we have to be very, very careful.
Yes. Don't be giving me a present even on the 1st or like, I need the day to be acknowledged. So I'm super excited to turn 50 this year on this special day and celebrate it with everybody who would like to celebrate it with me. So join in. It's a party.
Yay. So, yeah, I mean, if we look back over the past 50 years, I can't even do the math really to where that brings us back to. You were born in
73, baby.
73. All right. Yeah, lots of changes.
I know, a little bit. Fun fact, when I started looking up health trends, health facts for 1973, one of the things that I found that we don't have to discuss today because it's not very interesting, but it's kind of interesting, is that a lot of the nutritional labeling changed in 73. In fact, it went up to the Supreme Court because people were putting stuff on the labels like heart healthy, but it wasn't actually scientifically heart healthy. So that actually went into effect in 1973, where the FDA ended up making people mind their labels with actually back-upable facts, but that's just not fun. And I'm not talking about that on my birthday.
Well, it's not fun. And still, it's such a gray area because they can put heart healthy on things that are really highly processed and bad for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's all loopholes, right? It's like taxes and food labeling.
Yeah. I know.
For sure.
I know. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, you're right. That's not fun. That's another.
I'm not getting riled up on my 50th birthday. Okay, I'm just stepping into some extra power, turning 50, and the last thing we need is me getting riled up with this extra 50 power.
No, we don't need that for sure. So what is there one that sticks out, like one fun trend that stuck out for you in either the early 70s or 73 exactly?
I know. Well, let me see. I did find this cute little list thing that I thought was adorable, and this is what got me. So it's a link. We can put it in the show notes, and it goes through really from like 68 or something all the way to 2018, and in 1973. It goes through, I don't know what the title of this thing is. It's like exercise trends for the last 50 years. And for 1973, there's a little machine that looks like a lounge chair. It says a slender bender. Though it may look like a cot or lawn chair, the slender bender was marketed as a way for women to tone their midsections and legs without having to leave the house.
Oh,
So,
perfect. That's
yay.
exactly what we need, right?
Yes. And then, okay, so get this. I was just looking at the three of these. 74 was air shorts, apparently, said to massage your legs and waist, helping you trim down. 75 was a leg beauty kit. The leg beauty kit was one of the earliest examples of a widely popular fitness product using rubber resistance bands. The kit was marketed to women as an inexpensive way to slim and tone their legs. And so as I read this, I'm like, what the freakity freak were we telling our women
Right.
about their bodies in 1973? And no wonder when my hips came in 1985, I was like crushed that I had thunder thighs and a bubble butt.
Oh my God. Well, do you remember those? And this was probably before, I think this came in the 60s, that like jiggle machine. It
Yes.
had like this strap and you can just stand there and it would like shake your whole body.
Yes. No, that was actually on this list. It was just a little earlier. Let's see. Vibrating belts in 1967. Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember because I would go to the Y and I don't know, in my early teens and I would get on that thing and I would be like in the locker room. I'd be just standing, jiggling.
Oh my gosh.
Why did people think that was doing?
I don't know. The links that we will go to. And I think some of this goes to, all of these things were about slimming.
Oh yeah.
Like we didn't hear anything about stamina. So
No, or strength or
no.
yeah.
No. And so in 76, Rocky came out. So speed bag training, of course, got popular. And then in 77 was bodybuilding with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then in 78, treadmills.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So like that's sort of like we're evolving, like we're hitting the treadmills. And then
Wait, so speed bag training for women too? Like
you know what? I don't think it was as much for women. I think it was more for everybody, but probably men, And then of course 1979 brought us roller skating. And can we pause and just have a moment for roller skating?
Yeah, that was fun.
It was so much fun. So could you totally do the backward? I shouldn't lean away from my mic. Could you totally do the backwards and the
No, I couldn't do it. No. Never
Really?
got that big. My husband, on the other hand, was like a super roller skater.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Now I'm sort of surprised because both of you are long, tall, lanky.
I just didn't do it enough. He did. So you're saying we shouldn't? Like, is that a good body type for roller skating?
Well, I'm saying that over here in the stockier, what do they call me?
You have a lower center of gravity.
I would think center of gravity. And like 70% of all my body mass, I swear to you, is hip bones to heels. Okay. So, teeny tiny up top with these big, massive legs and booty. Like you can't fall when you're built like that.
No, and you have the lower center of gravity, which is great for roller skating. Yeah, like I would have a very long way to fall.
You would? You really would? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't into falling, so I did not try. I didn't try
I used to love that. And I could get the backwards just by doing that one leg. One leg. One leg. You know what I'm saying? When you do the backwards thing. Mostly, though, I wasn't doing that in 79. I was doing that more in 85. And I just wanted to sit in the corner and make out with boys. It was like my mama did not let me go to the roller skating rink.
Yes. Yes, they had those dark corners.
They did. They did. Okay, so we come up to the 80s and
let's talk about, but what we also haven't talked about is some crazy diets that they had in the 70s. Like, do you remember the grapefruit diet?
I remember hearing about the grapefruit diet, but we had a lot of fresh vegetables. We were my family was largely sort of lower middle class ish, and we depended on that garden needs to be on point because if it's not, then we're not eating a whole lot. So we didn't have a lot of fattish stuff in our household. But yes, I remember that. The
So it
grapefruit
was
diet.
like you had to eat a grapefruit at every meal. And somehow that was going to like speed up your metabolism or, yeah, no. I had a friend who did that. And I mean, who knows? Yeah. But then
What do you
there's
think
also,
about that? Like, was that the vitamin C or
I
the?
think it was like the citric acid was
I was
supposed
going
to
to say the
like,
acidity.
yeah, it was supposed to, speed up your metabolism. I think we didn't. I mean, it's nice that we know a lot more now. We can kind of laugh at it, but I think at the time people really bought into it. And then there was also something called the cookie diet that
Oh,
I
sign
read
me up
about.
for that. I don't know what that is, but if it sounds
Yeah,
like Oreos, then I'm down.
yeah. No, it was like a guy. He invented these cookies, and nobody really knew what the ingredients were. But you had cookies for breakfast, cookies for lunch, and then a sensible dinner.
Really?
Yeah,
Were they like proteiny cookies
I
or
don't
like?
know. I don't think so. But I mean, if you did that now, if you ate 3 Oreos for breakfast and 3 Oreos for lunch and a sensible dinner, you'd lose weight, right? Like,
You would.
it's just
You
not
really
that
would.
many
Yeah.
calories.
I wonder if that came out about the time Cookie Monster was coming out
I don't
on
know.
Sesame Street.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
So,
Cookie
yeah.
Monster was grumpy too. And you know, when you're doing a diet that you do not want to do, you are not pleasant to be around. You may as
No.
well. Oh, no, wait, that was Oscar.
Oscar the Grouch.
That was Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
Cookie Monster was very
No,
pleasant.
Cookie
He was
Monster
always
was
eating
not.
cookies.
Yeah, he just loved his cookies.
Yeah. Huh.
But I don't think anybody really wants to look like Cookie
I
Monster.
don't know, right? Cookie
Yeah.
Monster needs a wax. Well, and then the 80s brought us into the low fat,
Oh,
low
yes.
fat
Low fat,
diets.
no fat. Yeah. So bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think that morphed into, wasn't it in the 90s, maybe even the late 90s that Olean came out?
I think the 80s had like, wasn't the 80s like lean cuisine? Like,
Yes.
so those packaged, prepackaged meals that were supposed to be really, really good for you. And
Yeah.
Oprah, remember Oprah lost all that weight?
Yes.
And I think that was
I
in the
mean,
80s.
which time?
Right, right.
And I'm not busting on Oprah. I'm making a statement here. Like that's how we as an American people tend to lean. I saw a study one time that said we are great at losing weight. Of all the countries in the world, like United States is fantastic at losing weight because we just put it back on and then we lose it again and then we put it back on.
Right,
And then so if you look at how much weight we actually lose on the yearly, it's like, man, we are losing a lot of weight.
right. Because
Yeah.
we keep putting it back on and we keep
Because we keep
needing to
putting it
lose
back on.
weight. Right. And that is what, I think she did OptiFast in the 80s. And so it was, I mean, it's that same thing. It's like the idea that we can do these things for 30 days or 60 days and then maintain them, right? Because, and we say, I think there's still some of that around.
Oh gosh,
Because
yes.
because people feel like, okay, I can do something for 30 days. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I just did, sober October and I was
Yeah.
like, I can do that for 30 days. And and I did. And then I've gone back to drinking, but I don't know what it's going to look like. So, I mean, I guess the point is, like, if you are, if you're doing something for 30 days, you can't just then go back to whatever you were doing before.
Well, you can. I
Well,
mean,
right,
if you,
but not
I
if
mean,
you want to
let's take
maintain.
like fasting. Like maybe you're going to be like, oh, for 30 days I'm going to fast, or for 30 days I'm going to do 500 calories, or for whatever. I mean, you totally can. I don't know. I think it just depends on why you're doing it. If you're doing it to lose weight and have it stay off, well, it's probably not going to work out real well for you. If you're doing it to assess for an addictive pattern,
Right, right.
great. 30
Good
days
point.
may do you right and open your eyes to some stuff that you may see about your love of cookies or
Right,
alcohol or,
right. Sugar.
whatever that
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Good
So,
point.
yeah. It's funny. I just had a conversation with a potential client, and she was like, "Yeah, I am so down. I'm so ready for the results you're getting for your people." And we're talking, and she's like, "Yes, this sounds wonderful. I think I really need to do this packaging, blah, 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 blah." And I'm like, "Okay, great." We go over pricing, everything's a go. And then her next question to me is, wait, so you're not going to give me like a diet plan? And I was like, "Let me tell you something. No, I'm not
Right.
telling anybody that they have to do anything, because that is my gift to myself and really to you, is, when we say we're going to do those things for that short amount of time and we're only doing them because somebody told us to do them, like there's no sustainable change there.
Right. Right. And I think that, but I do think people are very accustomed
Agree.
to that kind of information, that kind of structure, that kind of somebody else taking control,
And
right? Like,
responsibility.
yes.
Yes, 100%. But again, since it's my birthday, let us not delve too far down that hole. Oh, but
Right.
yes. So crazy, crazy nutritional stuff. And then once we hit lean, everybody was eating everything and it felt fatty, but then they were having diarrhea and cramps. And so that's not a birthday surprise to have,
No, you
you
don't
know.
want that.
Yeah, no, I had a friend who really was very sensitive to the olean, and she like could not be near that. I've got guts of steel, so mine just sort of tolerate anything I throw down there.
Okay. So I miss the Olean. What is Olean?
Oh, so olean was like a chemical, kind of like a fat substitute that they could put in things like chips and Doritos and stuff like that, so that you'd have that sensation of like it's not a baked Lay's, it's a real Lay's.
Yeah.
But then people were having diarrhea.
So that I did that. I assume that didn't last long.
I think it's sort of phased out. You know how when we first had artificial sweeteners, we'd have those artificial sweeteners, and then it's not that we don't have artificial sweeteners now; it's that they've sort of morphed and changed. And I mean, back in the '70s, all we had was Sweet and Low,
Right.
right? Which was saccharin,
Saccharin. Yeah.
which we know caused cancer, right? And that was the big hubbub. And so then that switched to Equal. That's the brand name. I don't know what the generic is. But remember, so we went to, you go in the rest, for those of you who are under 50,
Yes.
you go in the restaurant, you have the little white packets of sugar and the little pink packets of Sweet and Low. And then another, little bit, you had the white packets of sugar, the pink packets of
Pain.
Sweet and Low, and the blue packets of Equal.
Yeah.
And now we have brown packets for sugar in the raw.
Yes. We have green
And
for stevia, right?
stevia.
Stevia
Yes,
green.
I think it is green. So, and then some honey, maybe. A lot of people put honey on the tables.
Mm-hmm.
So we've come a long way. I guess our food manufacturing companies have learned that when it gives us diarrhea and or cancer, we don't actually purchase that product
And it
anymore.
comes out, right? Like, and it comes out that happened. Like they could
Yes.
know that and not change a thing. It's when the
Yeah.
people start recognizing,
When we
stop
stop
buying.
purchasing it. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's pop back to,
And like another rabbit hole we could go down.
I know,
But
right? Let's pop back to that little list. Okay, so I don't think I've already said this, but in 1981, Denise Austin came out. Do you remember her?
oh yes.
Girl, I know. And then 82 was Jane Fonda's workout,
Uh-huh.
right?
And her like leotards and her wait, when
Girl.
were leg warmers big? Was that leg warmers?
Yes. Yes. It was the leg warmers. It was the headband. It
Yes.
was okay. And with my leotard, like I had the leotard, but also I had this little thing of elastic, and I don't know why or what purpose it served, but this little thing of elastic that went above my leotard in the front, through the leg holes, and under my leotard in the back. So in
What?
essence, it pulled the leg holes up and made the leotard more like
Oh.
a higher cut.
So it'd be like today's bathing suits that they're wearing today, right?
Pretty much.
Cheekies,
Yes.
the cheeky bathing suits.
Yeah. So it was, but oh yeah, it was all the fat. And I had my leg warmers. I did.
Yes, of
And
course.
then
I
they
did.
went right into 20-minute workouts, and then 84 jazzercise hits.
Oh, well, that's still around.
It is. And
Tons of people are
actually,
still doing jazzercise.
okay, it's a really fantastic workout. I've got a friend of mine from actually our mothers were friends. Okay. And so I've known her for a zillion years, but really, she has been teaching jazzercise since she was in college. So she's been teaching jazzercise sure as shit for like
Wow.
30 years
Wow.
and absolutely loves it. And I actually did a Zoom interview with her when I first started health coaching because I wanted to highlight different modalities of movement because there are so many different ways to move
Yes.
and so many benefits and so many different people and
Right.
what they like. And, if you run every day but you hate it, guess who's not going to be running every day? You. I
Right.
mean, it's not going to make sense. So she told me a lot of the details. Okay, so I'm very well versed in the jazzercise. So similar to Zumba, it's sort of a corporate thing. It's a franchised thing. They
Right.
get the songs out that have the choreography
Oh,
and
yeah.
they teach the choreography. Your instructor is not making that up.
No.
They learn that choreography. So somebody with exercise physiology is making all those movements up, making sure everything is balanced and scientifically like just right. The instructor is just not just, but the instructor is learning it and then teaching it. And as an instructor, you might have a bazillion, routines that she's taught it for 30 years.
Right.
And then they have some quality control measures where you have to be teaching the new stuff. Like you can teach you can sprinkle in a few of the old ones, but you have to be teaching the new stuff. During
Right.
COVID,
So
they were
it's
totally doing it online. And my girlfriend, Danielle, she was telling me that they used to have people would pop in the studio and evaluate you, like secret shopper, like.
Mm-hmm.
So that is some really stout
Yeah.
quality
Yeah.
control.
Yes. Yeah.
I can really respect that.
Do you think that has contributed to why it's such a
It's
lived?
longevity.
Yeah.
I think probably so. And I think also it's fun.
Have you done it?
Yes, I've done it.
I've never done it.
Really?
Uh-uh.
Oh, yeah. I do. I love jazzercise. Now, I will say, I have done jazzercise probably in the last, decade. We'll call it decade, right? My mama absolutely loves it. Now, let me tell you, if you're looking for what makes her mama love it? My mama she would never call herself an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
She sees herself as a little bit clumsy, and truth be told, we call her Grace for a reason. She's not the most coordinated athletic person. She loves the music.
Mm-hmm.
She gets her heart rate up and she really enjoys that. So I'm 50. So this year in the summer, she'll turn 80. So right now she's 79. You can make it low impact. You can make it high impact. They do have some weights, but it's not going to be a heavy weight. And she doesn't like weights. So that for her is a bonus.
Yeah.
For me, it's a detractor. I have fun when I go to jazzercise, but it doesn't it gets my dance out and my community out, but it doesn't get my I will rip you in half out.
You don't get there with jazzercise.
I don't get there with jazzercise. And not all people need that. I know
Right.
I'm a passionate, slightly on the crazy ends person.
You need the intensity.
I do. I need the intensity every once in a while. And that's one thing that makes jazzercise kind of fun for me because.
Right. And I actually, I like what you said about community because I think that is for people who I know who do it kind of religiously is about the community. You know, like it's the same people there. They kind of, you know, once you get the moves down, you kind of know how the flow goes.
Yeah.
And so it becomes you have your group.
Yeah.
But I guess the same things for CrossFit too.
Well, it's the same things for a lot of things, you know, like right now. Well, we're going to get there. I'm not even going to bring that up right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that takes us to like
jumping ahead.
I know 85 was personal training. 86 was the Bowflex.
Oh, the Bowflex. That's still around too.
Yes, it is still around. And you know what? Okay. So that's 86. And basically the Bowflex, if you're not familiar with it, A, you need to look it up because it's kind of cool. And B, it's just one of those things that's basically a weight bench with different attachments and you're pulling on pulley systems.
Yeah, it's like a resistance trainer.
Yes. So I think the first time we mentioned resistance bands was like in 73, 74. Yeah. So resistance bands have been around a long time and we still use them. We use them in aerobic classes. We use them at CrossFit for the TRX. Now TRX is a huge system. We use them in physical therapy. I mean, it's just a solid practice that we've done for 50 years. You do not have to have all your dumbbells at home. You do not need to have your barbell, although mine is actually under my bed right now. You know, you can just have some bands.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really do some great muscular training.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
And then in 1987, Buns of Steel, boom. Loved Buns of Steel. And 88 was Sweating to the Oldies with Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons coming in.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Gosh, do you remember his infomercials?
Yes. I'm actually cringing, like thinking about him now because he still like looks the same now. He still wears the same clothes and the same.
He does.
Hair. And
one of the best Halloween costumes I ever saw was from a fellow nurse who worked with me in Rochester, New York, and she put on a really curly wig with a headband and a tank top, and then she had gotten like fake hair and taped it to her armpits. Oh my gosh, that was priceless. I will never forget that costume.
That's great.
And then we have the in 89 the Abdominizer, and then 1990 hit the Thigh Master. Do you remember the Thigh Master?
Targeted, right? Like
yes,
you need thin thighs, and you're only going to do it by the Thigh Master.
Yes. Gosh, what I would have given to have had small, little petite ballerina thighs when I hit puberty.
You didn't work out on the Thigh Master enough.
Oh, girl.
It's just like the more we know, you know, the fact that it seems ridiculous now.
It does. Right? But there's still conversations around like, hey, how can I trim? In fact, somebody asked me the other day, like, how do I what exercises do I need to do to lose my belly fat? And I'm like, that's a larger conversation.
Right. Yes.
Because clearly, you know, excuse me, we think about like, well, if I make those muscles underneath that fat layer toned or trim, then, you know, my waist size will go in. And part of that is true. But if you don't address that big, beautiful fat layer on top, and that's not going to be addressed largely with targeted exercise.
No, but they, I mean, even, I don't know, I think it was around this time that came up that they had like the ab zapper. Like you could just put it on and it would like tighten the muscles.
Yeah, that was basically E-stim. And that was a little bit later. Actually, I won't say who, but there is someone that had that I know. And the idea was you walk around with basically E-stim on your tummy.
Right.
And it contracts those muscles for you and works out that tummy. And then magically one day you wake up and you got a 6-pack that's had spray tan, you know, oil sprayed on it. Right. Oh, Lordy. And I mean, I don't know. E-stim, a lot of people use e-stim for healing and for muscle activation. And I think it definitely has its place. But if you think you're going to wake up with a six-pack, boo-boo, that is not happening.
Well, and if that's the only thing you're changing,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm just sticking this, I'm going to live my life the way I've always lived it, stick this thing on my belly and
Yeah.
think, oh, it's going to.
It was like a belt that you walked around with, and it just like, yeah, I know, right? It's fun. So then comes 93 and the Nordic track, which was basically
Oh, yeah.
the cross country skier. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time that kind of like came into existence. And then 94 was the ab roller. Do you remember the ab roller?
What? No. I mean, I remember the name, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. So the ab roller was like a little pad in the back, and then it had these two arcs and a horizontal bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically you lay down with your head on the pillow, and then you had your hands sort of like up above you. And I think I can really see how it kept people positioned properly, to do a sit up, but basically it was like a sit up.
Right.
$1 billion in sales.
All right.
$1 billion. So in 73, we were all about tiny little waists and tiny little legs. And here in the 90s, we're hitting we got to have rock hard abs.
All right. So at least we're getting into strength a little bit, which is.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we're still in the how do I look? You know what? It's funny. To think of it actually like this. What did we say that bodybuilding came in 76 or 77? Because I think we said Speed Bag came out when Rocky came out, and then the next year, which was 77, here comes bodybuilding. And then almost 20 years later, it's rock hard abs.
And boot camp, didn't boot camps come? Like
boot camps, I think were a little later. Then we did, okay, let's keep going. Then we did the Gazelle Freestyle, which was basically like a almost like an elliptical machine, but non-motorized. It had two places for your feet at the bottom and two handles up at the top, and you just sort of cross-country skied / ellipticaled with out the motor. And then the elliptical machine came in 98. Oh gosh, girl, 1999 was Tybo.
Oh, right. There we go.
Yes. I love the Tybo.
Now we're getting into things that I would do.
Yes. Billy Blanks.
Yes.
Doing the Tybo. Yeah, that was awesome. I love doing that. And he'd be like, hook.
Right.
And what were the other ones? There was a hook. There was a roundhouse. There was a jab. It's a jab.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? A great workout.
Yes.
Like we can poo-poo and laugh because it was so trendy. But I remember doing Tybo and getting my butt whooped.
Yeah, I mean, it was trending for a reason, right? Like it was fun. It was, he was entertaining.
Yes.
Do it at home.
Yes. With no equipment.
Yeah, knock it out in your basement.
So then in 2000, Pilates comes on the scene. Like, I don't even remember Pilates being out in 2000, but maybe, I was about to have kids at that point. So.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I was actually doing it while I was pregnant with Mason. So that was right around 2000. So yeah. I was doing it.
And then in 2001, kettlebell came out. There again, I did not remember that.
I assumed kettlebells have been around forever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
2002, and I was not aware of this either, the Thug workout.
What is that?
I don't know. It says rapper DMX was at the height of his fame in 2002, and he and his group, the Rough Riders, decided to stop, drop, and open up shop in their very own workout video.
All right. Well, you might need to check that out.
I know. That's a look it up, Thug workout. And then in 2003, of course, P90X.
Oh, yeah. God, that's still going strong, too.
That's still going strong, too. And basically, that's a lot of same principles behind HIIT.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a lot. And P90X will burn your butt up.
Yep.
I mean, if you're looking for some stamina, body weight strength.
Yeah, and doesn't it change it up every day? Like, is it like a different?
Yes. Yeah. If I recall, I mean, I'm like, if I recall, I can go. I've got the videos. They're literally still in my exercise box, with my resistance bands and my foam roller, my yoga mat.
Yeah. So
Oh.
that's like a something that has a different workout every day, and you kind of follow along with the protocol.
It's funny. A lot of these trends, up until we're now at like 2002 or 2003 on our journey through time, have been home based.
Yeah, and you're right. The newer ones are like, I guess the jazzercise and Zumba.
Well, even all the resistance band training.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then in 2004, yoga says, even though it was, of course, thousands of years old, it says in 2004, millions of people picked up the discipline, pushing its user to a total of 15 million people.
Interesting.
I know. 2005, bar came along, which I think is awesome sauce because I love, of course, my ballet background and bar training. 2006 was TRX suspension. And then 2007 was the Hawaii chair. The Hawaii chair is a chair that gets its name because it swivels in a hula motion that supposedly burns calories and works your midsection.
Oh, I've been on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been on a hula chair. Oh, Hawaii chair, sorry.
I think the YMCA had that. Yeah.
Well, in 2008, Wii Fit came out.
Oh. Gosh.
I know. I loved Wii Fit. Well, no, that's not true. Okay, I see now. The Wii Fit was that little pad that you stand on. We never had that.
Oh, yeah, no.
But we definitely had the games where it was like an obstacle-y course. And so you had to like run in place. You had to jump over stuff.
Right.
And so you were standing there on the floor, but you were jumping, you were lunging, it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was fun to do with the children. That's what made the Wii. Let's see, in 08.
Well, what about like the dance party Wii's? Like
girl.
Dance, whatever, what was it called? But those were really fun and a really good workout.
Yeah, you had me at dance.
Mm-hmm.
It could be dance party Wii. It could be dance in the kitchen. It could be dance at the bar, wherever.
Yes.
Wherever. And then my favorite, 2010, brought us the shake weight.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I feel like those kind of made a resurgence recently.
They did. And actually, okay, so for those people who don't know, a shake weight looks like a dumbbell and it's got springs on either end. And so when you shake it like you would a
shaker, like your drink, mixing up
a drink shaker. If you mix up drinks, I never did that, Fran. So I'm thinking about that musical, a little maraca thing, how you do the like that one.
Yeah.
So if you do your shake weight like that, the ends of the bell will go away from you and toward you. So you really have to hold and stabilize.
Yeah.
So it looks so obscene, which is the big joke about the shake weight. That's why I can't say it without giggling. And at the same time, when you get your arm in that position, there's a lot of muscle activation in your back and your armpit on your shoulder stabilizers. It's really good. So using the shake weight actually can be super good for your shoulders and that capsule. So, but it always cracks me up, shake weight. And you can usually pick them up in the Walgreens on your As Seen on TV.
That little section.
I know, right? Then in 2011, boxing came out. And, we still have like 9 round?
Yeah. Went out of business in Hickory, but
Did it totally go out of business?
Yeah.
I knew the people that loved doing that.
Me too.
And, when we owned the CrossFit and when it was in the Hickory Fireplace and Patio building, there was that boxing place right beside us. And they actually had a Parkinson's program. Yeah, there is. If you want to look this up, if you have Parkinson's or have a loved one who has Parkinson's, or you're concerned about that, or just plain interested, you can look up boxing programs for Parkinson's patients. Makes a huge difference for them.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is dead interesting. And you know what? I'm going to say this. It was always inspiring to me to be in the CrossFit doing whatever I was doing and watch the Parkinson's patients come through the parking lot and go into exercise. Because
Yeah.
if you know Parkinson's, and it changes the way you walk.
Mm.
And
Right.
yeah, people tend to sort of lean forward, and if you can imagine, like picking up speed as they go along, kind of don't have any brakes on that. So they would, come through the parking lot really carefully and then get in there, and their movements were so much more fluid and controlled when they were doing their boxing. It was really inspiring to watch. Like, that's who I want to be. I want to be, I
Amazing.
certainly would not choose to have Parkinson's, but I want to be that person who, despite what I have or what challenges may be ahead of me, I'm going in and doing something.
Right. Well, yeah. And I think, with your background, how important movement and physical activity and community, right? Like, that's the other thing that provided. They were going somewhere
Yeah, for
and they were
sure.
engaging with people, and there were other people had similar issues going on, so I think it provided that as well. And
Yeah.
it gave them some sense of power, I would imagine.
Gosh,
So,
I think so. I mean, how could it not?
right.
You know?
Right.
So, yeah. Okay. And then in 2012, Zumba. I loved Zumba. Absolutely loved Zumba. But I'll tell you what, I was teaching aerobics at the time Zumba was coming out, and somebody asked me about teaching Zumba, and I looked into it. And when I found out that Zumba gives you the routines, just like in jazzercise we were talking about, they give you the routine. Zumba gives their instructors the routines, and I couldn't just make stuff up. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I like to do my own thing.
I do. I always do that with aerobics too. I just like to make up my own stuff. It feels good.
Yeah.
And then we start with spin class in 2013. Have you ever done a spin class?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
How is it for you?
Oh, it kicks my ass.
Me too.
I'm like, yeah.
Every time.
Drenched in sweat. Yeah.
Yeah. When I did it consistently, it kicked my ass. When I sort of like make cameos in the spin class again, I just get my ass handed to me every time. And I'm looking around and going like, I really thought I was a healthy person until I walked in here. Yeah.
And there's always that like competition, right? You're kind of looking at the person next to you. Like,
Oh, Fran.
what level?
You know I don't compete. I know, I'm just kidding. Okay, here's one that I'm not really super excited about. We've popped all the way up to 2014, and it's the waist trainer, modern version of Victorian era corsets.
Yeah.
The trainer squeezed the wearer's midsection, supposedly.
Oh,
Yes,
it
supposedly.
hurts me just to think about.
Right? Making it slimmer. The trend picked up steam after Kim Kardashian West used one, but they don't actually seem to be effective. In fact, they can damage internal organs if used for too long.
Well, and I would imagine it would weaken your stomach muscles and your back, right? If you have something holding you up all the time and you're not having to use your muscles I would imagine that weakens them.
So I can't even. You know what? Molly, my youngest, I was on the phone with her the other day, and that whole thing, you're killing me. She just straight up said to me, like, Mom, I'm dead. Okay. You're killing me and I'm dead. And that's how I feel about this waist trainer bull crap. I feel like, hey, we started out this list in 1973 and 74 talking about how women's midsections had to be small and their thighs had to be slim. And now we're right flipping back here at 2014 talking about, let me throw in a corset to squeeze up all my internal organs so that maybe I'll look pretty. F that. All day long, twice on a Sunday.
Right. Yeah. I mean, actually, I don't know anybody who's used these.
Well, and I'm
Not that
going
I
to say
know
right
of.
now, I don't need to use them because that's the way I'm shaped. I got a pair happening here,
Yeah.
so my waist is tiny, my boot is big. People say, like, how did you achieve that? I don't know. I came out that way. Like, I just grew into that. It wasn't something I had chosen. And I'll tell you what, I would never have chosen it. In 1985, I'd have chosen to look like Cindy Crawford and
Right.
been straight and a stick and have no waist.
Right.
So, you get what you get, and you got to at some point love it or just, hate it your whole life. And that's on you, boo boo. I'm not going to hate mine my whole life. I'm just going to love her for what she can do. Right. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
No, right. And to like hurt yourself to try to fit into
To
some
look
image.
pretty.
It's not going to, right. Not going to work.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen for me. So anyway, we'll move on from old ways. In 2015, we got the Fitbit.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Did you
Wait,
ever do a Fitbit?
at what point, remember those Skechers shoes that were
Oh, that
supposed
counted
to
your
like
steps.
had a certain different kind of sole that was supposed to tone your legs? They were like a weird sole. You don't remember those?
I do not remember.
They were like
Is it
toning
is it the
shoes. I
rocking
think
sole?
so. Yes, like they were called
Yeah.
toning shoes by Skechers, and yes. And so if you walked in them, it was supposed to tone your calves and your butt.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know. Probably by then I had started CrossFit, and really that was one of the very very first gifts that I received from CrossFit. Is I began to love my legs. And it was the first time, literally, since 1985, and I was 12, and my powerhouses came in,
mm-hmm.
that I loved my legs because all of a sudden at CrossFit, I could really see, like, wow, these suckers actually are powerful. And now now I'm beating the skinny runners.
Right. Right.
Before then I couldn't compete with the runners because all we were doing were running. And I was was the fat girl in the back. And I'll throw some air quotes on that because that's really not very nice. And that's sort of what I believed about myself. And then I hit CrossFit and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Actually, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I skipped over the shoes with the toning.
No, but I think what you're saying, like that being able to find the beauty in your body, and
Yes,
and I think it's like with the focus on strength and health that I think we're getting to,
we're getting there.
it allows all different shapes and sizes
Yeah.
to be lovable and to be powerful and to fit the trends.
Yeah. And I think sometimes sometimes you have to look a little harder than others. Just like I was reading something today that said, always look for the good in people, and it may take you a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay if it takes you a minute to figure out what it is about your body that you actually are super grateful for or that you love, but it's worth making an effort to find that.
Yeah, and actually, I was just with a bunch of my friends from college this past weekend, and we're all 53.
Mm-hmm.
And we all take pretty good care of ourselves, but we're also to the state where we're recognizing it's not going to get better, right? Like so we're getting older, our boobs are sagging, the cellulite's coming out, we all have wrinkles, and like unless I have facelifts and all that stuff, like it's not getting better. Like this is the best it's going to be now. So love it now, and we were talking about looking back at our pictures from college, and none of us felt good in our bodies then.
Mm.
We look back
Oh,
at them now, we're
sadness.
like, oh my God, like I actually looked pretty good. And so just knowing that right now, today, appreciating your body and loving your body is so important. It's hard to do, but I think what you were saying is finding, really searching and finding something that you appreciate
Yeah.
about your body, that gave birth to people, or it allows you to, go out for a walk in the
Oh,
sunshine.
girl, don't even start it up with this Achilles heel, man, still
Yeah.
being in a boot. When I see people walking normally with 2 feet on the ground, I'm like, oh. So I honestly like I dragged myself slash hobbled out to the beach. That's another whole story. But I had gotten literally 10 steps onto the beach and thrown my little blanket down and sat there. And I just watched people with their 2 feet walking in the sand all the way from where I was all the way down. And I was like, oh, I almost couldn't watch. I got, I got a little jealous, got
Yes.
a little jelly.
Yeah.
So,
But you
yeah.
also know you'll be back there.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Yeah, for sure. And then this list had, of course, my love, CrossFit listed in 2017. We all know it started before then. I think probably the earliest boxes were 2006 ish. I know that we had our first box in Hickory at 2007. We're so blessed and happy to have had a CrossFit in Hickory for that long. But yeah, that totally changed my life, rocked my world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad for
You and
that.
many others.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? You want to be grateful and in tune to your body. Find something that occasionally really pushes you past your limit. Here's the nugget. Here's the birthday nugget. Find something that occasionally, maybe once a month, once every couple of months, pushes you so far past your limit of what you think you can do. You're going to find some real accomplishment and some real like miraculous stuff that your body will do for you when you are graceful in asking it to.
Mm-hmm.
Caveat there, be graceful in how you ask your body to do that miraculous thing. And you can really appreciate then your body.
Yes. Yeah.
And learn your body. One thing I've noticed about CrossFit, another gift I've gotten from having that kind of intensity in my life over, a decade and a half, is I can tell when my body is a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
There have been several times that my thyroid level has been a little bit off. And I can detect it because I ask my body to push so hard. I would never know that I was struggling just a little bit if I were more sedentary, because
Yeah.
that's not where it shows up.
Right. Right. No, but I like your idea of getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right. Pushing yourself to get uncomfortable, and I think that isn't everything. We don't make changes if we're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Change happens when we step into the uncomfortable. So
And getting really grateful. Like when you get uncomfortable and you have whatever you have, whether it's growth or failure, you're going to end up with a thought that's like, dang, I didn't know I could lift 120 pounds. I'm so grateful for that. Or you're going to end up with like, man, I didn't think I could lift 120 pounds, and I didn't.
right.
Thank God I can lift 115, because 120 feels pretty flippin' heavy.
But then you're like, but now I want to, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when you start making some changes as well.
That's when I like to throw in a 5K or throw in a CrossFit competition or throw in a, whatever. I do like to compete occasionally, because it just gives me a time to push a little harder,
Yes.
get uncomfortable, have fun.
Right.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
My mother would not agree. So if you're listening and you're like, that Amy Chang is smoking a crack pipe, it's okay. It doesn't have to be your thing.
No, but even like competition and I just started playing pickleball,
Did you really? I didn't know you started playing pickleball.
I played 3 times now. So it's, but it's really friggin' fun, and it is competitive. Fran,
I just don't think anything you do could not. I mean, I know. I can smell the competitor through the screen across 6 hours from the state.
Gotta put a little in.
Well,
Just to keep things spicy. But okay.
funny.
Well, this has been such a fun time. Little walk down memory lane.
Little ride through history of exercise trends. People. So we started out with people wanting to look good. We ended up with people wanting to look good. Nothing wrong with wanting to look good. And I hope that we're working our strength, stamina, coordination, mental, emotional release, range of motion, community.
Yes.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
In any way that suits you. Certainly, we've given people 50 years of junk you can do for yourself.
Right. And what we didn't get into in any of this was like the outdoor stuff, going for a walk, taking a hike, getting on a paddleboard, like all of those things that are just, you can just do. It doesn't have to be these kind of trendy things. And I mean, I think those have been along for around.
Or the accessibilities, what do you do when you have one leg?
Yeah. Right.
What do you do when
creative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of places and resources really for anybody to do anything anytime they want to. You just have to want to do that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, happy birthday to you.
Yay.
And if you guys have enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share it with people. So we always like to hear your feedback.
Yeah. And Happy New Year.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. It's the 2nd of January. It's time to get busy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. See ya.